Today we are going to start the chapter Punctuation. What is punctuation? Punctuation is the use of some special symbols which helps us in what way that we will discuss after little later. Punctuation symbols are 14 in number. We have 14 of them, including question mark, full stop, exclamation mark, comma, then we have apostrophe, we have different types of brackets, colon, semicolon, and many other. But here in this class, in class 4, we are going to focus on 4 of them. Question mark, full stop, exclamation mark, and comma. Full stop is also called as period. First, coming to question mark. Question mark symbol we all know. We can see here the symbol, how we do it. Here, whenever we are asking something to you, suppose I ask you, how are you? Then there it is, and we are going to use question mark. Now, how do we come to know that we have to use a question mark? Remember, all the sentences that are interrogative in nature, we are going to use a question mark. And now, if I ask you what are interrogative sentences or interrogative sentences, then what are you going to say? Questions where we are using the words like what, which, where, when, how. All these words we are using and we are asking something. Those are interrogative sentences. For example, how are you? What is your name? All these are interrogative sentences. After or at the end of all these sentences, we are going to use a question mark. Then in question tags. Now, what are question tags, you will ask me? Question tags are special sentences. What is special about them? They are either declarative sentences or assertive sentences followed by a short imperative sentence. They are declarative or assertive sentences followed by a short imperative sentence, after which we put the question mark. For example, you are my brother, aren't you? Right? So here, you are my brother is attached with aren't you, and this is followed by a question mark. This is a question tag, right? Next is period or full stop. We all know the symbol of period or the full stop. Full stop looks like this, as if like a dot, right? And this full stop is always used at the end of an imperative statement or a declarative statement, right? And here the word full stop comes with two words, full and stop. Full and stop. When the sentence comes to a complete end, then we are going to use a full stop. When we are sure that the sentence has come to a full end. And we all know what are imperative statements and what are assertive statements. He is my little brother. An imperative statement, please go and sit down there. After the end of both the statements, we are going to use a full stop. Next is exclamation mark, and the symbol is something like this, right? It's like we have written 1 followed by a dot or the small dot, right? So here, where to use the exclamation mark? Exclamation mark are used after sentences which show surprise, where sudden feelings, emotions are expressed. That time we are going to use the exclamation mark. Exclamations. What a wonderful story. So here we are going to use the exclamation mark. Then after interjections. Interjections are short words. They are one worders like hurrah, alas, oh. These all express our emotions or our feelings, right? And also exclamation mark is used at the end of short imperative statements, right? Short imperative sentences we can use an exclamation mark like well done, keep it up, or after all this also we use an exclamation mark. Next is comma. The symbol of comma is like this, right? And we have all seen and used it at many places. And we should by now know the use of comma. Remember, a comma is always used to separate texts, then also to give some additional information. At the same time, it is also used to take a brief pause when we want to stop and then start again. But we have not come to an end of whatever we are speaking or writing, but we have just to want to take a small or a brief pause. that time we are going to use a comma, because when we have finished, then we are going to use a full stop. But here, when we are using a comma, or when we wish to use a comma, that time remember we are taking a brief pause. Then here in this class we are going to understand and use the comma in context with since or as. We have learned about because, as, since, right? We have used them as conjunctions, and we are now here in this we are going to focus on since and as, and when to use a comma when we are using since and as. Remember, since and as can be used at both the places, in the beginning of the sentence and in the middle of the sentence. Whenever we are using since and as, whether in the beginning of the sentence, that time remember that we are going to use the comma after the reason part of the sentence. We have learned that whenever we are using because, since and as, we have two parts of the sentence, reason and the result part of the sentence, right? We have two parts, reason and the result part. So after the end of the reason part, we are going to use the comma, and then write the result part or say the result part of the sentence. Like, as it was raining, we decided to play indoors. So here the reason is raining, and the result was decision to play indoors. Since you are not playing, will you help us to keep the things in place? Since you are not playing, will you help us to keep the things in place? Here the reason part is not playing. So, and the result is asking help to do something. So here comes the use of comma. We are separating the result part with the reason part with a comma. But when we are using it in the middle of the sentence, since and as, that time we are not separating the result and the reason part with any comma. Rest of the clarifications will be done in the Google Meet class. Thank you.